Hi everyone, my name is Christine and I'm making this video to just kind of talk about what I'm going through, my experience. I'm not an expert. I try to do some of my own research on the subject, but all I can tell you and share with you is my experience, my feelings and my opinions, and just to share what's going on with me. Hopefully it helps somebody else that's going through the same thing. I have stage 3 breast cancer. It's called HER2 positive +3 estrogen responsive positive breast cancer. The longest name in the freaking world. A little bit about how I discovered there was a problem. For an entire week, I was experiencing a lot of soreness and some swelling in one of my breasts. I thought that was odd because usually as a woman, you know, if you're a lady out there, while you're on your cycle, usually both feel the same. Either you're not sore or you are sore. You know, some people don't get that symptom. I used to, and I thought it was odd that I was having it now, because I haven't had to deal with that for a couple years. So I thought it was weird. It was just one. I kept an eye on it. You know, there weren't any other symptoms. I wasn't really worried. After 1 week, it kept going, and it was getting worse, just a little bit. It wasn't crazy bad, but it was noticeable. All of a sudden I started getting a shooting pain in the side of my breast, and it hurt. It felt like someone was taking a needle and doing this over and over. It made it hard to move around. When I did feel the pain, it kind of stopped me in my tracks for a second. I didn't cry or anything. I'm pretty tolerant of physical pain. I've broken stuff and never shed a tear, so to feel something like that in a tender spot like that was horrible. You know, I was telling my husband about it, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, this is so weird. And the craziest thing, he's not the type of person that will go to the doctor unless you make him. He actually said to me, honey, maybe it's time you go see a doctor or something. And to hear that come out of his mouth really resonated with me, because he's usually not like that. So if he is concerned and thinks it's important enough to go see a doctor, maybe I should. So I listened to him. God was using him to get me in there. It was a Saturday night. I couldn't do anything about it for a couple of days, but I said, Monday morning, I'm calling the gynecologist. I'm making an appointment. And I did. I called Monday morning. That was February 26th, 2020. Called him up, said, you know, talking to the nurse, these are my symptoms. She said, well, which breast is it? And I'm thinking, does it matter? Which one? Aren't they kind of the same? But I didn't say anything. I said, well, it's my right one. And she said, well, we have an opening at 4:30 today. Can you come in? And I'm like, what? Yeah, sure, I can come in. I mean, normally, especially gynecologists, you know, they're delivering babies, they're surgeons, they see everybody. So I was surprised to get in the same day. Again, God. So I went and saw him. He examined me, and based on what he saw, he felt that it was an infection, a ductal infection of some sort, and put me on antibiotics for a week. I said, okay, sounds right, sounds great. Went and picked up the antibiotics that day. started them that night, took them for 7 days, the whole bottle. Called him after the 7 days was up and said, nothing's changed. If anything, it's gotten a little worse. And I said, I have a new symptom. He goes, oh, well, what's that? And I said, well, I noticed when I took my bra off last night, I had little spots of what looked like blood in my bra all over. And I said, when I took the bra off, I put my hand on under my breast because it hurt if I didn't support it somehow. I literally had to hold it up for it not to hurt. So I went like this. Oh, that's all I did was go like this. I didn't put any pressure on it. I didn't squeeze it. I wasn't expressing or anything. And lo and behold, this droplet of blood mixed with clear, very clear liquid came out of one of my duct openings on the nipple. And that's not normal. That is not normal. I mean, you might have a little bleeding when you're breastfeeding and the kid's really aggressive, an aggressive eater. Or if you let them, you're not taking care of them while you're breastfeeding, they can crack and bleed and stuff like that. But it's been 8 years. Mine should be fine. So the fact that I saw a little blood really, really scared me. It really concerned me. I said, honey, this is getting serious. I don't know what this is, and it's not an infection. We need to figure this out real fast. So we prayed about it, that God's will be done. We invited him into the situation again. We've been doing that since day one. It's really important when you're going through something, whether it's small or big, where you want to send your kid to school in kindergarten. God cares about that stuff. So we definitely prayed about this. The gynecologist sent me to a surgeon. He made the appointment for me. My first appointment with the surgeon was March 4th. So I went to the next town over to see him and told him everything, what had happened since day one, all the symptoms, what happened first, second, third, what we were up to with the blood. And he said, can you reproduce that symptom? And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, can you make yourself bleed again? And I'm like, why would I want to do that? He's like, I really need to see which duct it's coming out of. That's really important. It could give us a clue as to, our next step. Honestly, I told him straight up, it hurts so bad right now without anything touching it. I don't think I could do that to myself in my right mind, because it was so painful. I could not inflict that much personal pain on myself. And he says, well, if you can't do it, do you mind if I try? And I said, I'd rather you try than me. Okay, I can sit here and breathe through the pain if you're doing it, but I don't think I could do it to myself. That just doesn't, my psyche is not wired that way. And he did. He was able to reproduce a symptom. He made a note of where the blood was coming out of and everything. And he said, you've got a couple things going on. He thought. He's like, do you have an IUD in? And I said, yeah, I've had one in for about 4.5 years. It's been great. No periods, no nothing. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to buy, tampons, whatever. It's not really for, I don't have it in for pregnancy reasons. We're done. My husband and I are done. And he says, I strongly suggest taking that out as soon as possible. And I said, well, why? What's going on? He said, I don't know for sure without doing tests, but I have a suspicion that the hormones being released by your IUD may be causing a problem on top of the real underlying problem. And I said, well, I was going to have it taken out in May anyway. I mean, if you think it might be important to take it out, I'll take it out sooner if I can get in. And he's like, as soon as you can, I strongly suggest you do it. I'm like, okay, all right, no problem. I left the surgeon's office, and in his parking lot, he had given me an order for a mammogram, an ultrasound, and I also called my gynecologist. So the next day I had a mammogram, which was very painful. They squish your boob, and when it's already hurting, that's really bad. So the mammogram, they had me stand, and it's a machine that has 2 glass shelves, and they make you put your boob in there, and they tighten it like a vise, and it squeezes it to no end. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. And if you don't have really ginormous boobs, it's very difficult. Mine are okay. I like my boobs, but they're not, the nurse was explaining, ladies that have bigger boobs don't have quite the problem. Smaller ones, you have to like pull it onto the shelf and then squeeze it, and then you have to stand really still because there's not much there. So that was really horrendous. I had to breathe through that. Let me tell you, it hurt so bad. Under normal circumstances, I don't think it would have hurt as bad, on my healthy boob. But as it was, they were doing it to the one that was in excruciating pain for the last 2.5 weeks. The ultrasound I had directly after the mammogram, so I was in pain. They were very gentle. They were everyone I came into contact with at all the offices were extremely wonderful. And they kept saying, I'm sorry, I know this hurts, I'm sorry. And I'm like, don't apologize for doing your job. I need this figured out. I need to know what's going on so we can fix it. Had the ultrasound, and then what did I do? Oh, went from the ultrasound, the clinic, over to the gynecologist again, because he was able to fit me in the very next day after I saw the surgeon. He took the IUD out, asked me, why I wanted it out early, and I told him, honestly, the surgeon suggested to have it taken out as soon as possible, that maybe the hormones may be exacerbating whatever's going on, and I said, why not? Let's try it. And then after I saw the gynecologist, I went back to see the surgeon that same day, to go over, I think he had the mammogram and the ultrasound results already. They sent them over the same day. He called me in and said, hey, can you come in? And I'm like, after I leave the gynecologist's office, yeah, again, God. And I was praying every day before every appointment. So that was March 5th. So that brought us that was February 26th. All that happened between February 26th until March 5th. And I'll leave the video off there, and I will make a second video starting March 6th, because there's just a lot. And I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what's going on, and where I'm at so far. I'll make a couple videos if you're interested in watching them. If you're recently diagnosed, if you know somebody who's recently diagnosed with a rare breast cancer or any kind of breast cancer, please feel free to watch the video. Even if you're a supporter, you know, if you don't have cancer yourself, knowing as much as you can about what someone's going through might help you be more supportive. And if you're the one that has cancer, please remember you're not the only one who's going through this situation. It's not all about you, okay? Your friends, your family, your coworkers, people that know you, people that care about you, people that come into contact with you often, you know, when they find out you have something like this, like stage 3, stage 1, 2, 3, or 4 cancer, it affects them. It really does affect them. They have feelings about it. They have concerns. They have worries. They have questions. And sometimes a lot of people will be afraid to ask you because they feel like they're prying into your business. What I suggest doing with close friends and family, not people that are acquaintances, but close friends and family, I would go to them first, your closest ones first, your husband, your daughter, your son, your in-laws, your parents, brothers, sisters. Start with them first. Don't drop it like a bomb, okay? Be sensitive to their needs. Like I said, it's not just you. Don't be selfish. Think about their feelings because they love you so much. It's going to hurt them as much as it's hurting you, knowing you have it and knowing you have to go through it. It's going to hurt them too. So be sensitive when you tell them. What I did was I told my friends and family what happened, what I was diagnosed with, what I knew about it so far, which wasn't very much, what the next step was, you know, the next doctor appointment, what the next test was. And I just told them, look, if you feel any kind of way, if you're feeling concerned, if you're feeling worried, if you had a bad dream, you know, I told my daughter or my husband, if you had a nightmare, if you're having really negative thoughts, if you're sad, if you're angry, you need to talk about it just as much as I do. And there is a time for your supporters to listen to what you're going through, but make sure you're not making it all about you all the time. You are not cancer. You're a person with cancer. So don't make your conversations wrapped up all about your disease. You're still a person. You're still the person that they love. If they ask, share a little bit about it. Share what you recently had to do or how you're feeling. Be honest, but allow them to ask questions. But you have to tell them it's okay to ask. You know, you have to tell them, hey, if you have any questions, if you have any feelings, please come talk to me because you're going through this too with me. And you should be able to express that just as much as I should be able to express what I'm going through. So be supportive of your supporters and be grateful. Anyone who helps you out by doing anything, even if it's making you a dish one day. You know, I've been very fortunate to have friends and family who have been, wow, above and beyond anything I could have ever thought. My parents and my in-laws have been there, you know, watching our kid, making sure that she has some sort of normalcy and all of this because I'm not able to move around a lot and my husband is working all day. So they've been taking her for the afternoon and just playing and taking her out with the dogs and just just having fun, you know, letting her be a kid and playing games that I can't play. You know, mommy still sits and reads on the couch and, you know, watches a show with her, but kids can only do so much of that stuff, you know, before they want to get up and go and do something. So I've been very, very fortunate and very grateful. So thank you, Mom, Dad, mother-in-law, father-in-law, for being there. I also have some wonderful siblings. I have 2 sister-in-laws, um, 2 brother-in-laws, my own brother. They've all been supportive in different ways, making meals, you know, sending me Bible verses of encouragement, sending me messages of love and that they're thinking of me. You know, it's just really meant a lot, and it really helps. It does. So anything you can do to support someone you know who's got cancer, going through anything like this, please do. Don't be afraid. Don't think it's not enough. Okay? Do whatever you can. It is enough. It's more than enough. That one message, I can't tell you how many times I looked at my phone and saw just a text from someone. Hey, thinking about you. I hope your appointment goes well tomorrow. A little heart, you know. It was amazing, you know, and I'm grateful. Don't take that for granted. Don't take that love and support for granted. And supporters, if you've supported someone with cancer, or you are, or you're going to have to, God bless you. Don't do it for the glory of yourself. Do it for the glory of the Lord, and do it for that person you love. And do whatever you can think of doing, even if it's sending them a card, a get well card with a little message inside. Anything is wonderful. So I will leave you with that. I don't want to offend anyone if you thought that finding out this way through a video was probably not your most favorite way to find out, but, and I apologize for that, but I felt in my heart that this was the best way and easiest way, especially during quarantine, to let acquaintances and co-workers and co-volunteers and other people I know at the same time, because there's a couple hundred of you. So look for the next video. I will continue to share my journey with you. And I love you, and God bless you. I'll see you later.